So that same treatment center that gave me that double dose of medication held me down all because I was eating a candy cane they gave me and because my roommate wanted to play a game and make up a story. That's why it's so important that people not try to make up stories. It can get people seriously hurt like me. And it happens all the time. My mother used to tell stories about me. Other children would tell stories. It's just common in society. People make up stories, and they need to stop. Honesty, truthfulness. That's where the heart comes from. That's where I'm speaking from in these videos. That's what we need more of. We need people coming forward and speaking the truth and nothing but the truth. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm going to give you an example of that same treatment center as an adult. I was living in the tent cities. I was living outside. I was seizing every day. I didn't really have a lot of drug problems at that time, but I was shaking. I was in extreme pain, and I needed to get into a treatment center. So I told them I was suicidal. What I really was getting there, I was just about to try to end my life. I couldn't live like that outside. And I said, if you guys don't do something, then I don't know. I think I'm going to have to do something to end my life. And that was to try to get out of the cold. When I was having seizures every day, I was shaking. I mean, these things were happening intense. I was going unconscious. That's part of the seizing. What I mean by seizures, I mean my body seizes, then I go unconscious. I fall, like if I'm standing up, I seize, I end up on the ground, and then I go unconscious. I don't always go unconscious. Sometimes if I'm like warm and I start seizing and I just look down and I stop and I stop doing what I'm doing, I can prevent it, but that doesn't always work, especially if I'm living outside in the cold, because that's one of the main triggers of this neurological condition. Loud sounds, cold, touch, um, blinking lights and glowing screens a little bit, but I do okay now with those. Lots of practice. That still shoots lightning down my spine. It still can trigger a seizure, but not as bad as cold or sound. So I get into this treatment center just so I won't have this pain, so I won't have seizures, so I won't die, so I can stay alive for a little bit longer. Just because they have a heater there, that's it. They have heat, and with that, if you give me heat, I won't be suicidal anymore. If you take away that heat, I will shake, fall, be in pain. Boom. I can't function anymore. Then I don't want to live in like that anymore. I don't want to live in constant pain, not able to move my body, not able to ask for help, while people try to do stuff to my body, while people take stuff off my body. I don't want to live like that. So I'm in the treatment center. Now, I got sent there multiple times by my parents. I spent quite a bit of time in this treatment center. So I know. I also, like I said in the last video, or there might be another one, I was held down and they forced me to take a second dose of medication at the same exact time. All my meds twice again. Just because they didn't want to do their job. That's it. Somebody was already upset about her home issues and she wanted to take it out on me, I guess. I mean, she could have walked over and clearly saw that that was a candy cane, but we're going to move on from that. I've moved on from that. So I know that too. I've all these stories I've gone through many times with therapists. I've gone through it with strangers and friends that I got close to. So I've already moved past it. I realize what the problem was. I realize what the problem is, and I'm moving forward. I also know that this stuff happens in society, but at least it's not like 400 years ago. At least I'm not losing my fingers working at a job at 12 years old. I mean, they did have children working, losing limbs just 100 years ago in the 1920s. I mean, around that there was children being used for labor, losing their limbs and stuff. So, I try to think of, people had it worse than me, and then I count my blessings. Then I think about the situation, how bad it was, and then I move on. I keep a record of it. I tell somebody about it, and I move on. But I'm trying to put this in an actual orderly fashion. It needs to go into a book. It needs to be on file before I pass away. So I'm going to have to rehash a lot of this. I'm going to have to use, plus with my hits to the head during the seizures, there's no guarantee that when I wake up, I'm going to be able to remember all this. It'll just be a blank. when you get a hit to the head, it's not like your memory gets altered, you just get a blank. It's like it's not there no more. You just have a blank nothing. So if I have too many more hits to the head, I might not be able to put myself into these situations, look around, and explain them. That's called memory. That's called trying to relive a situation so you can recall it. Okay, so this is one in my 20s. I'm about 19, 20 years old. I'm now 31. This is about 10 years ago, maybe more. Probably closer to 11. Oh, no, actually, no, that's about right. That's about right age. But age doesn't matter. I'm an adult. So I'm in this treatment center, and I just got in the door. I'm being nice to everybody, being kind, and this guy rubs my shoulder, and I say, please stop. And I move away from him, and the staff goes, that bothered you? I said, yeah, it shot lightning. I didn't like that. That felt awful. Please don't allow that. Okay. Then a couple days, actually, this is about 24 hours goes by, or maybe 2 days, and I have my bedroom on the whole right side of this building. There's about 12 rooms all on one side, while the other side of the hallway is a staff desk. So you have a desk in the middle, and you have 12 rooms lined up on the opposite side of this desk. And that desk in back of it has like a TV and eating lounge. And that's all they give you. They give you an eating lounge, a TV, and then 12 rooms. And then you have a front desk to keep an eye on these rooms, as well as a camera in the corner. Okay. So it's maybe, I don't know, 10 o'clock at night. I'm trying to sleep. They just loaded me up with pills again. My heart is beating. I'm dizzy. I'm really lethargic. I'm out like a light. I'm dreaming. All of a sudden, I feel somebody stick their finger in my ass. I feel somebody rubbing my butt. I wake up out of my dream, and I see this smiling moron in my bed. My roommate is sound asleep across from me, and this weirdo is in my bed, who's not my roommate, not supposed to be there, rubbing my ass, trying to stick his finger in it, doing all this weird stuff. So I scream at him and say, get the hell out, get the hell out. And he leaves. I go tell the staff at the desk. I go up to the desk. I say, this kid was just in my room touching me. Do not allow him in my room again. His room is on the opposite side, about 8 rooms down. There's no reason for him to be coming to my room. Just because I'm nice to somebody does not mean I want that. I was nice to everybody in that place. Even people who are aggressive, I'm nice to. Even jerk staff, I'm nice to. I try to be kind and respectful to everybody. But apparently this kid couldn't talk right. He was clearly really mental. This was somebody who was truly really mental. I tell the staff about it. She just kind of ignores me and tells me, go back to your room. I go back to my room. I'm going back to sleep. The meds, my heart's racing. I'm going back to sleep. And the kid walks in, and I feel him sit down on my bed and start putting his hands on me again. I start feeling the lightning through my spine again. I start getting upset. I say, get the fuck out of here before I hit you. At this point, I have to go out to the staff again, and I tell the staff again for a second time, do not allow this kid in my room. I don't know what the hell is wrong with you, but stop allowing this kid in my room. He's 8 doors down. I have my room. He has his. I don't like to be raped. At this point, the staff is just getting mad that she has to do her job. She's like, oh, well, I don't know about any of that, but you need to go back to your room. So I do. I go back to my room, and I try to sleep again. Now it's morning. It's morning time now. And this kid comes into my room. Now remember, I'm about 20, and this kid's like 19. Comes into my room. Now I'm awake. He tries to sneak in. And this time I tell him, you're about to get fucked up. You got to get out of here. You are not allowed in my room. You leave now. You leave now. The kid leaves. And I go tell staff again. At this point, the staff don't want to really do very much, but they're taking it seriously, and they say they're going to check the cameras. I say, your staff, night staff, need to be more trained. A kid just rubbed my ass, went into my room. He tried to do all this weird stuff to me. Why are you allowing this person to do this to me? I'm in here trying to stay safe. I'm trying to get not suicidal, and you're allowing a kid to come in and start rubbing me. It hurts. It physically hurts. And they say they're going to do an investigation. They're going to look into it. At this point, I am pretty upset. This kid keeps on coming in. I'm like, the only way, I'm thinking in my head this, I'm like, the only way this kid's going to stop is if I hit him. I don't want to hurt him. He definitely has a mental disorder. There's something wrong with him. He's not doing it on purpose. He's just psycho. It's the staff's fault. They should, there's a staff that he's walking by. He's literally walking by the staff to come in my room to do these things to me. So the staff must be on their phone or not paying attention or not doing their job. Obviously, the staff are not doing their job. So at this point, I say, well, I'll wait and see if the staff finally do their job. Well, this continues for another night. I demand that the night staff get fired the next morning. I have to constantly stay awake all night, keeping this kid out of my room. I'm doing the staff's job. Every time he comes in the doorway, get the hell out, get the hell out, get the hell out, is what I tell them. That's all I tell this psychotic guy. Now, I'm sitting in the day room, and this kid comes out, and he tries to grab my shoulder and feel me up. He starts trying to feel me up in front of everybody. So I grab him and I throw him, and the staff are like, oh my God, and they start grabbing my arms back, and I'm just pulling on it, about to hit him and smash his head in. And I'm yelling at him, how dare you touch me and try. And of course now the staff are interested. Now this is daytime, so the management's in here. And they look at this, they look at the complaints, and they say, what's all this? And I explained to him, he's come in my room 2 nights in a row. I think we're at 5 times. He's tried to stick his finger up my ass. He's tried to feel up my ass. I've made 7 complaints with your night staff. I've made 3 complaints with the day staff, and this is continuing. Then they say they're going to check the cameras to see if I'm telling the truth. They do. They check the cameras, and they then all turn white and scared. They all start stuttering and coming up to me and going, yeah, we saw it on the camera. We saw him coming in your room constantly. We see you coming out and telling the staff. We saw you do this multiple times. We're very sorry that this happened. We will take care of this. We will get rid of the night staff. We will bring somebody else in. They try to make me feel all comforted. They also, when I try to fight him, they injected me with some drugs too. But those drugs like benzodiazepam definitely help with the nervous system issues, so they actually kind of helped. I used to feel a lot better after they would inject me with benzodiazepam. It would help with the nervous system, and it would help me calm down as well. So it has 2 purposes. But anyways, so they do this little investigation. They say they have to make a report, and I say, good. Make sure everything is in the report. Everything. Then they want to ask me if I want an attorney or something like that, or do I have anybody I can contact. I tell them I don't have any of that. I don't have any of that. I said, the only people that need to be held responsible are you people. And I don't have any family members supporting me when things like this happen. They all just let it happen. They kind of hope that I have to find a hole to die in someplace. That's my family's hope. My family hopes that all this will kill me quicker than they die. That way they don't have to deal with any of the suffering that I've gone through. But anyways, so after this all is done, they find it on the cameras, they write a report out, they fire the night staff. But do I get any better? Does that make me feel better? No. Is the new night staff that's coming in any more trained? I don't know, probably not. I've seen several staff that have no right to be there. Meanwhile, other staff do a great job and they're underpaid. So there's a lot of problems. Meanwhile, the doctor takes up half of the whole budget of the building. These doctors take up most of the budget, by the way. I don't know if you realize that, but a lot of these places pay mostly for the doctor, especially if they're a smaller building that has less funding, then most of the money will go to the doctor. That's one way we can help, is by lowering their paycheck and raising the rest of the people so you get better trained people in there. But anyway, so this is another example of how this treatment center treats people. Now, I'm an adult in this case, but this stuff used to happen in childhood too. I would be sent to these treatment centers, and people would do stuff like this. Like, I remember a psychotic boy that used to sneak into the girls' room and try to have sex with them. And it took the staff, I don't know, the boy snuck in there, the girls screamed, then the girls started letting him come in, and then they found a condom on the floor and they wanted to know what it was all about. But we all knew what it was about. That's when I was a child. That was a different treatment center, and that's where the girls were on one side, the boys were on another, and they were a little separated. But these staff are not looking at what's in front of them. That guy who tried to stick his finger up my bum walked right in front of the staff to get to my room. Multiple times. That's even after I've come out and told her that this is happening. And she's still allowing it to happen. You have me coming out saying, this kid just tried to stick his finger up my bum. He's on the other side of the building. Don't allow him back in my room, please. And then what happens? She allows him in my room again. He continues to come in there, trying to lay in my bed and do weird, funny shit. That's why I say, there are a lot of freaky people out there. But you can't fix all the freaky people. But you can fix the normal people who aren't doing their jobs, who aren't caring, who are allowing these things to happen. All these people have to do is their job. If the person checked the orange juice for ketchup, I wouldn't have been given a double drug that day. If they checked the candy cane to see what that was, I wouldn't have been given another double drug that day. If they checked, if they did check the camera, so they do know it was real, it's happened, there's a report out there, there's camera footage to go with it, so that was proven. But if that nurse just listened to me, or whatever she was, if she had listened to me, then none of this would have happened. All she had to do was say, I got a complaint that some kid's coming into this guy's room and doing weird stuff, so I better keep my eyes up. I better do my job. But she didn't. She went back on her phone, watching TV, so that kid could just walk by right in my room. That's messed up. That's messed up stuff. And that happened over and over and over and over until I went above her head to management. They checked the cameras, and then she got fired. That's terrible. All she had to do was look up. People can't even look up. That's the problem in society. You got grown adults, children in these places, and things like this are happening because somebody won't look up, because somebody won't take 5 steps and check the candy cane, because people don't want to pour out orange juice and see if it's ketchup or a pill. That's why people like me are being harmed. Now, my mother did way worse. She tried to cripple me for disability. You got that going on too. So you got all this stuff going on in my life, and I would call it crazy. What was being done to me on a regular basis is crazy. And there's nothing that I could do about that. I kept on speaking up. What am I supposed to do? Kill the kid in my room? Of course not. This person's the only staff that night. There's nobody else to speak to. She's at the front desk. This kid's walking right past him. Right past her. He's walking right past her multiple times. I'm complaining to her, telling this is happening, and it still continues. All because she wants to continue watching her show on her phone. So this is the actual issue in life. We're allowing these things to happen. Now, luckily, that was on camera. It was reported. The person got fired. Hopefully they got somebody better to come in. But it's going to happen again and again and again and again to other people. There's other children out there who are going to go through this. There are plenty of people who are going to go through this and end up mental. They're not going to be able to unravel it like I was. They're not going to be able to do good and try to give back like I'm doing. A lot of people don't figure out that's a way to move forward. They don't understand there's 2 ways to move forward. You can get revenge, or you can stop it from happening again. That's my method, is I stop this from happening to other people by speaking up about the atrocities that happened to me. By speaking up about the atrocities that happened to me, then maybe other people won't have to go through it. And that's how I move forward. But other people who go through this might not have that idea. They might do something totally different, and that's what I'm worried about. There are several other people out there that are going through this that are being made disabled for Social Security. They're being drugged. They're being given way too many pharmaceuticals. They're being pushed onto drugs. They're being beaten. There's so many things. And then when they speak up about it, nobody does anything. You speak up, speak up, speak up, speak up, speak up, speak up, and it falls on deaf ears. The only children that get any justice is the ones that have money and parents that are willing to use their money for good. If you have parents that want to stop this, then it stops. But if you have parents that want to feed into this, then it gets much, much worse. And a child has no money, and nobody cares about the low-income orphans. So this just keeps on continuing in a cycle, making brand new homeless people that have to live on the streets and don't know how to function. Now, luckily, I know how to function. I know how to hold a job. I know how to pay my rent. I know how to clean. I know what's right. I know what's wrong. I'm deeply religious and spiritual. But I do have shakes and seizures that have to be under control. I do need a neurologist to diagnose me and treat me for these seizures before I rip out another intestine during a seizure, like another GI, or I twist my leg or get another infection or something. I definitely need to figure out that. But other than that, I've untwisted myself the last 10 years. And I got to say, some of the drugs helped with that. They helped me spiritually. They helped me look in on myself, kind of process these information, try to figure out what it all means. So I was able to move on. I just need to fix this neurological disorder. That's all I got left. But other people might not be as lucky as me. They might not have religion and God to lead them. And when that happens, things can go very wrong. And that's what I'm afraid of. There are millions of other children out there that could get caught up in this system.